Hi, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about how to create your perfect morning. Let me paint a picture. You're late to work, spill coffee on your shirt, the boss immediately asks for the report that was due yesterday, clients are calling, and your inbox is full. Does this sound like a typical start to your day? Sure, maybe it's not normally quite that bad, but would your entire day go better if you started the morning strong? Can you really design and create a perfect morning? Let's paint a second picture. Imagine a leisurely drive to work, listening to your favorite podcast, Sales Expedition, I hope. Or maybe you're listening to some great music. You arrive at the office early. You're feeling great and you're totally prepared for the whirlwind that's preparing to attack. Okay, most of my life, picture one was pretty much typical for me. My idea of a morning routine was to groggily fall out of bed and into the shower. And I'd struggle to make it to the office or my first appointment of the day. And I typically started coming on really strong about 10 a.m. Sure, I was a notorious night owl who hated mornings. In last week's post on remembering notes, I mentioned that I scanned my daily sheet into Evernote during my morning routine. A reader took note of this and asked me if I could speak to them a little bit about a morning routine. In the last few years, I've adapted my mornings, and since it's been so helpful to me, I wanted others perhaps to realize the benefit as well. Let's talk about what. It's really strange to me that you could do something over and over before the light finally comes on and you feel like you've had an epiphany. It kind of makes me feel smart for a moment, and then I feel stupid that I hadn't figured this out sooner. For many years, my Saturday morning started much different than my workday. I woke up without an alarm, of course, but more importantly, I spent the first hour or so of my Saturday morning leisurely sipping coffee and thinking about the upcoming day. On warm mornings, I really preferred to be in our outdoor cabana since I love being outdoors, slowly coming to life. A few years ago, I had that epiphany. What if every morning could be this way? I had read of successful people having a morning routine, but at the time, I was just experimenting with a way to get moving before 10 a.m. The only way to know if this would work, and of course pretty much anything, was to experiment. I thought, could it actually be worth it to get up earlier as to have the time to do nothing while I'm waking up? This was completely counterintuitive to how I had lived most of my life. I always worked under the assumption that 5 more minutes of sleep was always better. I began to gradually set my alarm earlier, about 15 minutes every few days, until I reached my target wake-up time of 5:30 a.m. I spent my extra time in the morning having a leisurely wake-up, and by the time I headed to the shower, I was fully awake and actually feeling great. This worked fine for a while, but I really started getting tired, so I would allow myself to sleep in later on Friday to catch up on some of the sleep that I was losing. Also, to compensate for some of the sleep I was missing, I started to bed a little earlier by missing the late show. A while later, I axed sports, which comes on at the end of the 11 o'clock news. Soon after, the weather got axed as well, because I can look at that on my phone anytime I want to. So I just watched the headlines. This held me for quite a while, and one night I was really feeling tired at about 10 p.m. Nothing interested me on TV, which is my personal way to wind down at night. So I thought, well, what the heck, I'll just go to bed. I woke up the next morning without an alarm. Thanks to the wonderful folks at television programming, heading to bed at 10 p.m. wasn't really a big deal, and I was feeling great. So many experts advocate for 8 hours of sleep, and I now completely agree with them. Let's discuss an added suggestion. Remember my earlier statement about the morning routine of really successful people? Well, I found it to be a tremendous help. Remember, up till now, I've just started getting moving sooner and feeling better. But with the extra time I have in the mornings, I decided to take the experiment a step further and create an actual morning routine. You can obviously use your extra time however you wish. And I highly recommend doing some research on what others do and then create your own routine. But in case you're interested, following is how I spend my mornings. First, the length of time it takes, and then what I'm doing. 30 minutes. I wake up, I sit leisurely, drink coffee, waking up. 30 minutes, shower and dress. 20 minutes, prayer, devotional, and time with God. 5 minutes, goal and motivational review. 10 minutes in my journal. 5 minutes to scan my daily sheets and my journal daily sheets. 5 minutes to review my journal entry from 1 year ago today. 5 minutes to check off my goal streak tracker. 0 minutes to turn the computer sound up. I turn that off when I finish work at the end of the day since my office is at home and I don't even want to hear the notifications. Then about 5 minutes reviewing my weekly big 3 tasks that need to be accomplished. 0 minutes, grab a clean sheet of paper for my today notes. And then maybe 5 minutes to review my power statement and my power word of the day. I've listed the approximate time it takes for each item on my morning routine, but I also wanted to note that using the Full Focus Planner, there is a written routine for both my personal and work startup routines. The above list included both, and it typically takes about an hour and 30 minutes. Now, each individual thing typically takes a little bit less time than I've allocated, but an hour and 30 is about what it takes to get everything done. So when I finish my morning routine, I feel fully awake. I get a lot more done during the day since I'm normally started early and I'm ready to go. And I'm much more pleasant with my early morning client calls and my coworkers, and they really appreciate the change. Can you change? Maybe you're already a morning person, and if so, congrats to you, because us night owls, it's a lot tougher. If you're not, you can make a lot of progress by learning how to create your perfect morning. Trust me, if I could become at least somewhat of a morning person, I guarantee you can too. You will be amazed at what you can get accomplished before the day hits you like a tornado. I certainly appreciate you being here today, and I hope that you find this information valuable. Please leave me a comment on your morning routine, if you have one, or if you think it would be helpful for you to create one. Or jump over to the Facebook group and join in the conversation at facebook.com/sales-expedition. And if I could just ask one favor, if you have not subscribed to the blog, jump back over, get your name and email address on our list so you never miss any valuable content. Again, thank you so much for being here today, and until next week, have a fantastic day.